Hey, sweeties, and welcome to Tea and Talk, a self-development podcast. I'm your host, Tafia Stokes. You know, they say a woman is like a cup of tea. You can't tell her strength until you put her in hot water. Well, the water is hot, sis, so let's see your strength. Grab your tea and get comfortable, and join me as I get into it on this episode of Tea and Talk. Hey y'all, and welcome to a new episode of Tea and Talk. Before I get started on today's episode, I actually wanted to take the time and just say thank you guys for taking time out of your day to listen to me, taking time out of your day to listen, review, download, share, comment, and follow me. It means so much that I am kind of building a community of people who listen to Tea and Talk and, networking that way and building friendships and that sort of thing. So thank you. And although I've had a podcast almost a year now, it took me a while to figure out how to exactly find my podcast reviews. So I am just now finding what you guys were saying about my podcast for months now. So I'm sorry, but thank you. And I wanted to take time to shout out someone for leaving a review. And I'll probably do this almost every week, probably shouting out someone who leaves me a review, and just to show you love because you're showing me love and taking time out of your day to write it. So to Nicole Linnea, thank you so much for your review. She writes, great podcast, very positive, informing, and encouraging. I love it. Linnea, I hope I'm saying your name right, from Unpacking the Box podcast. Thank you, love, for taking the time to write me a review and to listen to my podcast as a fellow podcaster. Thank you. Now, y'all, let's jump into this episode because this episode is all about decluttering. And I know season 2, episode 1, I talked about setting intentions. And if you take the time to comb through that episode, you'll see that I had also done some decluttering for myself. What I mean by that is that I talked about certain things such as cutting down on the amount of TV I watched and picking up a book and just reading more books, or changing the style of music that I listen to better serve me, and listening to more positive and more music with messages behind it that are serving me where I am in my life right now. So I decluttered in that way. I decluttered mentally I declutter mentally every day by meditating and clearing my mind. But I'm decluttering mentally, physically, emotionally from the things that no longer serve me in the life that I'm living currently, in the place where I'm trying to get to, if that makes sense. So about decluttering is the most liberating and refreshing feeling anyone experiences when walking on their self-development journey. When you hear the word declutter, we automatically go to the mindset of, minimizing things in our home or minimizing things in our cars. Wow, okay. Decluttering is more than just material things. Decluttering involves everything that doesn't serve you in your life anymore. It involves things that don't serve you, people who may be draining, relationships that may be toxic, bad habits, poor morals, and fake values. When your life is cluttered, it opens a segue for inviting chaos. As you grow and experience more life, you start to get a better feel for who you are and who you want to be in life. You grow, and people change, and that change can either be for the better or for the worse. Whatever the case, those people in your life, you may have outgrown. Although they have been people you may have known for years, the relationships become draining, leaving you empty and dehydrated. It may hurt, but the relationship you have with that person may need to be reevaluated. And it is up to you to promote, demote, or fire them from your life. Friendships can become more one-sided. You give your all and you get nothing in return. You put in 98% while the other party puts in 2%. You are literally carrying that relationship on your back. But at this point, it is not for the benefit of you. The relationship only seems to be benefiting the party who is reaping the benefits while putting nothing in. That's a relationship that needs to be reevaluated. Is it worth the effort, the time, the energy, or even your peace? If it is, then maybe you set some boundaries. And if those boundaries aren't met, then you move on. Or maybe at this point, that is not worth it. And so you begin the healing process and you move on. Bad habits such as smoking, excessive drinking, excessive partying, eating junk food 24/7 are things that you need to change, but you always find an excuse not to. For me, my excuse for eating junk is because it's in the house and I don't want to waste it. So let's get rid of it by shoving it down my mouth. I know that's not the way to go. I'm working on it, y'all. If you are on the self-development journey for the long haul, then it's time that you get off that bandwagon and push those habits out, right? Start with just one and replace it with something that serves you. You need to quit smoking. Stop and keep healthy things around, fruits or, rice cakes even. And with every time you feel the urge to smoke, eat one of those healthy things instead. Or the money you would have been spending on cigarettes, take it and put it into a vacation fund for you to take at the end of the year for your major accomplishment of quitting smoking. If you eat too much junk food, don't allow it in your home. I have a 5-year-old, so that's kind of hard. Don't bring those things in your house so then you do not feel the itch to snack on Oreos or cereal. If you are excessively drinking, maybe you cut down to only have one drink on the weekend versus drinking every day. You get the picture. Replace those bad habits. Growing up, you may have been taught to value things such as expensive clothes or expensive cars. Yes, those things are nice to have, but they are material things. For you to truly be on this journey, your values must stem deeper than the surface. What does having those values do in serving in your life today? Maybe you've changed your values to valuing genuine people, gratitude, and giving. You know that these values not only serve you, but others as well. So while your initial values did nothing, you decluttered those values and replaced them with values that are more hearty for you in your life. I felt like I said values like 6 times. Sorry, y'all. What is something that you were brought up to value, that you feel no longer serves your life today? What are your values today? You may outgrow things that once served you, but just like you spring clean, this is also true in life. Every season, you must take a step back and reevaluate where you are, the path you are heading down, and where you want to be. When you are on a journey, everything can't go with you. Some of the heavier things get left behind, and sometimes for good reason. When you declutter, it can be overwhelming. The end result is what is really going to make a difference. You are setting up your life and mind to be a peaceful one that you are living in. Clutter is linked to overall stress, frustration, the feeling of being overwhelmed, and dissatisfaction. Clutter also impacts your well-being in your physical and in your mental health. Decluttering makes it easier for you to be able to find things such as your purpose and who you are, just to name a few. Clear your brain from the clutter and watch yourself begin to propel and soar in life. This is because the lighter you are, the easier it is. And with the more time you have, the more time you will have to devote to your dreams, your ambitions, and your passions. This type of decluttering is not going to happen overnight. This is a process and is not something that needs to be rushed, but you should stay consistent in this journey. It may be very uncomfortable at first, but when you feel that discomfort, sit in it and sit with it and try to figure out why. Maybe because change is uncomfortable. Maybe some of that clutter was masking who you really were and beginning to become who you really are. Maybe decluttering was scary. Maybe clutter masks other parts of your life that you choose not to share or choose not to allow to shine through. Maybe it felt safe to you, so therefore you stayed in that safe zone. Why are you feeling uneasy? Why were you holding on to all of that clutter? One step to decluttering and getting organized is by purchasing a calendar. This will keep you on track and not committing to more than you can handle, sis. Keep organized, stay on track, and do not bite off more than you can chew. Set goals that you want to accomplish and give yourself a timeline with a deadline. Be intentional with the goals that you set and be realistic in the time frame and deadlines that you give yourself to accomplish those goals. Decluttering makes me feel more at ease, less anxious, and very refreshed. Positive habits and a clearer mind leads to a happy life with more productivity and time to indulge in what you actually love. Remember that it takes time. Take it day by day, but be intentional during this time. Make every change and make every day count. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Tea and Talk. Stay tuned every Monday for new episodes. If you love Tea and Talk, be sure to give a rating and your feedback at the end of this episode. Want more Tea and Talk? Join the Tea Party VIP group. Click the link in the description of this episode to learn more. I'm excited to talk to you all next week. So until next time, love and light.